So what is the number one reason which people give for not buying coaching according to my online survey? It's money. At least the presenting issue is money, but when you look at the accompanying comments, you find that there are really three underlying issues, and only one of those is money. The first one is poverty, so yes, they simply don't have the money. The second one is priorities. They have the money, but it's currently being used elsewhere. And the third one is pessimism. They could afford the coaching, but they don't believe, for some reason, that coaching will help them. And we'll take some time and look at each of those in a bit more detail. Firstly, poverty. I can help with poverty. If you simply don't have the money for coaching but you have a deserving case, then I can certainly help you, and the most powerful way I can do that is through the hardship scheme. The hardship scheme is available for folks to join. There is generally a waiting list to join the hardship scheme because I have a limited number of places, mainly because I need to earn a living. But if you join the hardship scheme, then you and I will negotiate a fee which you're comfortable with, and you'll pay that fee. The second way I can help people is with what I've called the swappers scheme, which is really a barter system in which people do work for me on the business in exchange for coaching, so no money changes hands. And the kinds of work which I'm interested in having people do for me vary across the board, from clerical, administrative stuff, web research, through to web technical, computer kinds of things, and on to creative with graphics design, photography and video making, and also marketing and areas of special expertise which I'm interested in. So these folks contract with me to do a certain amount of work in exchange for a certain amount of coaching value, and that's the basis on which we work with each other. The third area I can help people is through discounts. There are a number of surveys on the website which are basically marketing surveys, so they're there for my benefit and not the client's. And therefore, in exchange for your help with completing those surveys, you can get discounts against the price of coaching. So that's a bit about poverty and how I can offset the cost of coaching for you. The second of those three P's, you may recall, was about priorities. And what we're saying with priorities is not that people don't have any money, but that they have no spare money. And that really comes down to making choices about how people spend their money. But all too often those choices are not explicit choices. Frankly, most people are in this boat. No matter how much money they earn, they manage to spend it all. And they do that by, over time, accruing a more and more expensive lifestyle. And that's fine. But what I would say is that if your priorities have been set such that you have a lot of money in theory, but in practice you've got no disposable income, then it might be worth your while doing a reassessment, reevaluating the money that you've got and what you're currently spending it on, and asking yourself the question, is this the best way to spend the money that I have? Is it giving me the biggest bang for the buck, if you like, the biggest opportunity to make life better? And you might look at areas such as these: gym memberships, subscriptions to television channel packages and magazines and whatnot, expensive phone tariffs, stuff like that, and just ask yourself if you might be better off and happier in life if you invested in some of these other things. Now, the third of the P's is pessimism, and that's fundamentally about people who don't think coaching can help them. And the number one concern in that category is, well, it might not work. If I pay you some money, I have some coaching, and it didn't help me for whatever reason, I've wasted a significant amount of money. And so the level of confidence is not high. What I would say to folks in that category is, firstly, there's an initial consultation opportunity. You can have a 20-minute phone call with me to explore the issues that you're facing, or explore your cynicism if that's what you've got. You can ask the nitty-gritty questions that relate to you specifically and your situation, and I can talk to you about how I would be able to help you. You can also ask any other difficult questions you might have. That costs £10 at the moment at the making of this video, and that's refundable if you subsequently book coaching. So that's a low-cost opportunity to get straight to the horse's mouth, if you were, and challenge away on the things which you're not convinced about. The second thing I would say to folks in this category is that if you look at the website, there are many testimonials from ex-clients, from people who've gone through the system, come out the other side, and find themselves very significantly better off as a result of their coaching. So have a look at those and see if they offer you any reassurances. The last thing I would say in this area, no, that is the last thing. Oh yeah, the last thing I would say in this area is that there is a money-back guarantee. So if you did buy some coaching and you had the coaching and you found that it didn't do what you hoped it would do, you can claim a refund. So it doesn't really get much better than that. And if the prospect of asking for a refund is embarrassing to you, then you can even ask for one in email. Now, in the years that I've been coaching, only one person's ever asked for a refund, so I wouldn't anticipate that we're going to get into this area. But it's, I hope, reassuring to you to know that if we did get into this area, then that's an option that's available to you. So there is no risk financially on a session-by-session basis. The second area which people are pessimistic about coaching in is that the flaw is within themselves. They feel they're uniquely flawed, whether that's not very energetic, not very tenacious, no stamina, no creativity, too negative, whatever those issues are, they feel that they're uniquely flawed and nothing can be done to help them. And what I would say to those folks is that's where I live. Flaws are my business. If you were that perfect human being, you wouldn't need a life coach, but very few of us are. I've never met one, and I'm certainly not one myself. It is the business of the life coach to work with a person that you currently are, warts and all, and make that person successful. And I've got a whole suite of what I call low tricks to help people succeed despite the fact that they have these inadequacies in themselves. So it's about making the real you get what you really want from life. The third area under pessimism which people tell me about is that they feel that they actually know what they need to do, they just need to get on and do it, or else they need to read a book or talk to a friend, but they don't feel the need to employ a coach. I completely understand that viewpoint, but I would say this: look at the past and then consider the future. There's a saying which I quite like, which is that if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. So you have to ask yourself, what is going to change in my future, which means that my life is going to change? And if the answer is nothing, then you're in trouble. So I would say inject some new things into your life to get new outcomes, and one obvious new thing would be coaching, which works like nothing else does as far as I'm concerned in turning people's lives around. The last, fourth category in the pessimism area is people say nebulous things like it's just not for me, it's not my thing, it's not what I do. And these are general statements. They're very general to the point of being content free, really. And the reason for that is that they all express fundamental fears about the future. So fears of success, fears of failure, fears of inadequacy, fear of the unknown, the unfamiliar. All those fears are what prevent people in this fourth category of pessimism for being more positive about possible futures. So finally, in category 4, I would say that fear is often labelled with the acronym FEAR, meaning false expectations appearing real. So whatever those fears that you feel are almost certainly not real. They are imaginary. Okay, so to summarise, money is the biggest presenting problem which people give me as the reason not to hire a coach. And the three areas under there are to do with poverty, in which case I talk about the hardship scheme and other ways to save money, or to do with priorities, and in those cases I talk about what you're currently spending your money on and whether there are opportunities to spend your money in better ways that serve your own interests better. And thirdly, there's the pessimism angle, and you've got testimonials, there's the initial consultation session which is available for just £10, 20 minutes, and finally and ultimately there is the money back guarantee, which pretty much preserves any risk that you might be worried about taking.